All right, guys. Sorry for the delay. I was on a conference call with our payroll provider. There's some things that we're having to look at with this stimulus package that came out, and so it was just something I had to sit in on. So we just pushed everything back a half hour. So instead of starting at 9:20, we're starting at 9:50. We're going to take this class till 10:30, and then start the chair strength at 10:40. So just everything the same, just at the 30-minute delay. Roll the shoulders back. Let's breathe in and out. I appreciate your patience. All right. Let's just do some heart sun circles. Inhale, lift up. Pull your hands right on down the midline. Inhaling on the way up. Exhaling on the way down. And again, lifting up. Yeah, I had been thinking about pre-recording some classes anyway, and today's situation just drives home the reminder that it's probably not a bad idea, because I really want to stay on our normal class schedule as much as possible, just for everybody to have some sense of normalcy and routine. Let's do that one more time. And we'll come into a forward fold. Just reach down. Make sure that you have some connection between your hands and the floor, whether it's a direct connection or you've got something bridging that gap. Just let the back of your spine lengthen and reach downward, and feel that stretch in the back of your legs as well. And bend the knees, slowly roll it up. Heart sun circles, reach up, pull the hands right down the center. Inhale, lifting up. Exhaling down. Let's do that 2 more times. Start to come into a forward fold. And bend the knees and slowly roll it up. This time reach overhead, grab your right wrist, lean to the left. Switch sides. Switch sides again. One more time, go the other way. Bring your hands behind your back. Open your chest and shoulders. Slide your shoulder blades towards center spine. Elevate your collarbones. And think of your shoulder girdle. The collarbones are the front of your shoulder girdle. Your shoulder blades make up the back. So elevating the collarbones also helps slide those shoulder blades downward. It's all connected. All right, let's fold at the hips and knees and reach up. Come into chair pose. Engage those muscles around your sit bones. It's right where your thigh meets your rear end. Tighten your lower belly. And today let's become aware also of our pelvic floor. Think of it as a sling that runs from your pubic bone to your tailbone, thigh to thigh. And just imagining tightening that sling. Breathe. And then press your legs straight. Circle the arms back behind your torso. Open your chest. And we're going to bring our big toes all the way together. Our focus is our hips today. Our happy hips day. All right, let's reach up again. Pull the hands into heart center. Fold at the hips and knees. And we're going to cross our right leg over our left, intertwine if you can, and just turn to the right side. So you're turning your whole rib cage, and your thumbs against your breastbone help you track where that rib cage goes. Come back to center, uncross the legs, bring the hands behind the back, open the chest and shoulders, lift up, hands into heart center again, sit back, fold at the hips and knees. This time we're going to cross the left leg over and turn to the left side. Your hips may try to swing around when your chest goes that way. Try to keep the hips going straight down. Don't let them come around. One more breath. And then on an exhale, return to center. Uncross. Come back up, stretch up tall. And we're just going to reach like we're trying to touch the ceiling. And then just bring those hands back down to your hips or your sides. We're just going to do some hip mobility action here, motion. Take your right leg out and in. And take it out and in. And out and in. Last one on this side, and in. Get your weight on that right leg. Start the movement with your left. Take it out and in. Back out to the side and in. Out and in. One more on the side. Out and in. And then just rock your hips a little bit today. Just take them side to side. And we're going to circle our hips, a little hula action standing up. Imagine how this would go over in a room full of you guys. Probably get some good chuckles out of this, but again, it's a good motion to do. Circle those hips. Come back to center, and we'll step the feet apart. Take the forearms up the midline, and circle the arms out to the side. Inhaling on the way up. With your feet, feel like you're literally rooting the feet into the floor. Feel how that engages the muscles up the legs. And then we're going to slide the hands down the outside of the thighs. Come into a wide-legged forward fold. This is another place where having your hands elevated on a block may be helpful. Turn your toes out about 45 degrees and just bend one knee and then the other. We're just going to shift those hips side to side. Keep breathing. All right. So go ahead and hold it at one side, either hands on the floor, or if it's a little easier for your torso to rest an elbow on that leg, do so. But try to kind of shift the whole bottom of that leg to the side. Deepen that hip crease as much as you can without jamming your hip. Walk the hands across to the other side. Same thing over here. You can either keep the hands on the floor or elevate your torso a little bit. It's more about what's happening with the legs than what's happening up here. So just get yourself comfortable and feel like your back has enough support. And then walk it back to center. Bend your knees, press your hands into your thighs, tuck your tail under, unroll your spine as you straighten your legs, forearms meet in the middle. Take it up to the ceiling, circle it out. Find that breath connection again. Do that one more time. And then bring your arms out to shoulder height. Turn your right toe out. And we're going to come into warrior two. So make sure you can still see your toes peeking out past your knee. And hopefully that knee's lining up with the second and third toe. Ideally, you just don't want the knee to fall inwards. All right, so lift up your front heel and then just rock those hips a little bit. Circle them, just move them around. Just see if you can find a place that just feels a little better for your hips to be. And then put that heel down. When that heel is down, you're basically locking your hips into place for the most part. Turn your front palm up. Let's lift up. Try to drop that hip angle a little bit in the front if you can. And then come over into side angle with support or without. So the key to getting this side of your body to align is to deepen this hip angle. That's the connection. Let's come back out of that. As you come to center, hands come down low. Lift it up. Bring your hands back down to shoulder level and then turn your other toe out. Come into warrior two. Get that knee in a good place first. And then hold your heel off the floor. And just rock those hips. Do it, little baby circles. Again, just experiment. Notice what you feel. Get to know your body. Once you find a good place, the heel comes back down. We come into reverse warrior. And then into side angle. Extended side angle with the arm in line with the body, either with support or reaching underneath. Breathe. Come back to center. And reach overhead. And then we're just going to turn our toes out, bring our arms out to shoulder height, sit the hips down, and just turn side to side. Do that once on each side or twice on each side here. And then we're going to come back to center and try to just hold our heels off the floor. Reach up. And then press your legs straight, bring your hands down. We're going to come all the way down to the ground and target our hips today. So let's go ahead and lay on either side. Make sure your head is supported, aligned with your body. Part of the reason I don't jump right into that infamous happy hip set is those nut muscles really still need to be warmed up more before we jump into that, so we're going to do this instead. Clamshells. So big toes stay together the first 8. Open and close. If you have wall space at home and a block, I mean it's kind of late to set up right now, but you're doing clamshells, if you can just put the block between the top edge of your hip and your pelvis and hold it there against the wall, it will give you instant feedback as to whether you're rocking those hips back and forth or not. Let's do 3 more of these. So this top hip does not go backwards. All right, so we're going to have the foot come up, knee come down. So we're rotating the thigh bone or the femur in the hip socket. Knee down, toe down. Knee down, toe down. That's 4 and 5 and 6. I'm just keeping track of this top hip. That's all I'm doing. 7 with my hand and 8. Open the knee, extend the leg, flex the foot, brace the bottom leg into the floor. We're going to lower slowly today and lift slowly. Lower, control the descent. Lift it up. Keep drawing in the waist. That supports the pelvis. And up. 4. And up. 5. And up. 6. And up. 7. Let's do one more. And 8. And then just let your leg align with the rest of your body. Pull this bottom leg in just a little bit, and we're just going to do a big circling or pedaling motion. Forward, 2, 3, and 4. And reverse it. That's going to feel a little strange. 2, and 3, and 4. All right, top hand goes on the floor in front of your chest. Set yourself up. Pull your bottom leg through. And just locate your hip over here, your pelvis. And we're just going to rock that pelvis. This is a great mobilizer anytime. Especially if you've been sitting for a long time. If your hips just feel tight. All right. Let's go ahead and just swing the legs to the other end of the mat, and we'll get the other side. Okay, so setting up for clamshells again. Top hip over the bottom hip, big toes touching, about a 45-degree angle with the leg here. And we're just going to squeeze it open and let it close. 2. A lot of us realize that we carry a lot of tension in our neck and shoulders. But what we may not notice as much is we probably carry just as much tension in our hips. Three more of these. 2. And then we're going to add the rotation of the thigh bone. So the foot comes up and the knee comes down. And then touch down. 2. And open. 3. And open. 4. And open. 5. Nice tight torso. 6. 7. And 8. All right, extend your leg, flex your foot, brace your bottom leg against the ground. Slowly lower, slowly lift. Don't worry about how high it's getting. If it's getting real high, you are probably rocking your top hip back. And down. And 3. And down. 4. And down. 5. And down. 6. And down. 7. And down. One more. 8. And down. All right. Straighten that bottom leg slightly. Bring your top leg in line with your body and just do that big pedaling motion. Good. And that is going to move your torso some because it's such a big movement. Just really feel that range of motion. How far can you reach? And let's reverse it. Backwards. All right. And I'll do one more. I think we got a few bonus reps in there. All right, relax. Put your hand in front of your chest. Lift up. Pull your bottom leg through. Put your hand on that top hip that was just working. That was the main mover, I should say. Both sides should have been working. 2, 3, and 4. All right. So we're going to go ahead and come on to forearms and knees. That just helps us keep a straight, flat back. And we'll start with that right leg. Just lift it up, but we're going to cross it over the left leg and then back out to the side. Actively push the shin and the front of that left leg into the ground. 3 and 4. So we're not only thinking about the muscles that are making the motion happen, the movers, but we're also thinking about the anchors and the stabilizers. 7, let's do one more like this, and 8, and then extend your leg out straight and just do a little tiny circle inward. Try to keep the rest of your body motionless as possible, and then circle it the other way. And bring it in. All right, and then wag those hips a little bit, get the core reset. We'll get ready for the other side. So the left leg's going to be bent 90 degrees. Lift it up and actively brace this other leg, the support leg, into the ground. That left knee crosses over the right and then goes out to the left side. It crosses over and then goes out. Crosses over, out to the side. That's 4. Keep your belly gently engaged, your shoulders and your forearms engaged. Let's do 2 more of these. In and out. All right, extend that leg out. Little circles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and reverse it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, reach your hands out and pull your hips in the opposite direction of your hands. So we're just trying to lengthen the spine here and stretch out the shoulders. Let's do a quick cat stretch up. And gently arch. All right. So we're going to flip over onto our back and work our glutes. Our hips have a lot of different directions to move. They basically straighten your leg. You know, the leg bends, the leg straightens, the legs go in and out, they go in circles. All right, so we're going to start with our feet hip width apart and our hands just alongside of our body here. And just slowly squeeze those hips off the floor. Hold that. Slowly lower down. We're doing a little slower version. Don't quite touch the floor. And again, lifting up. Notice as you do this, your collarbones kind of close the gap towards your chin as the torso lifts. That's 3. And lower down. And 4. And lower down. And 5. Lower down. 6. Lower down. Keep breathing. 7. All right, then we're going to keep these hips up for a little bit today, a little different approach. Pull the toes up and then lift the heels. Toes up, then heels up. Keep the butt up in the air. You've got a $100 bill between your cheeks. Keep rocking through those feet. Keep your belly engaged. Support your back with your belly muscles. Let's do 2 more. And 8. All right, lower it down. Let's bring one knee at a time for a quick hug. All right. So we're going to let the knees open now. And we're going to lift and lower again. So we're pushing into the outside edge of our feet. And you don't have to open the hands out a little wider as well and make room for your legs. But the same general action. Squeeze and lower down. Now what you can do here is as you're lifting, try to feel like you're trying to slide your feet away. See what that does. And then as you're coming down, gently feel like you're trying to pull your feet towards you. It's real subtle. That's the beauty of having these sticky yoga mats. They can help you get more leverage in certain movements. Again, squeeze. And you also may feel your torso shifting and the mat grabbing your skin at the top of your shoulders, bottom of your neck. And down. Let's do that one more time. And we're going to hold. And when the mat is pulling on our skin, it's pulling on the fascia, which is below the skin, which is covering your muscles. So there's actually a tug on your muscles underneath everything when the skin's getting pulled. Lower down. All right. So we're going to come into a reclining cobbler's pose now. So just keep your knees open. Bring your legs in. Relax your legs now. Just keep your forearms pushing the inner thighs. Breathe. So the inner thigh muscles are also considered movers for the hip joint, so we're going to get those. So press your spine into the ground, imprint that spine, belly button towards your spine, ribs towards your belly button, and extend your legs. If you need to tuck your hands under your hips, do so. If you can bring your hands to the base of your skull and protect your back, go with that option. So we're just going to open and cross, alternating your top leg. So that action is your inner thigh muscles working. If you want to engage that core a bit more, you can lower those legs until you feel like you're just at that point where your back's about ready to arch off the mat. Opening and crossing. Keep breathing. So your midsection's having to stabilize while your pelvis is literally swiveling. Keep breathing. Let's do one more with each leg. We're alternating that top leg. And relax. All right. Again, rock those knees a little bit, side to side. And then while we're on our backs, we're going to again take advantage of an opportunity to mobilize the hips as well. Doesn't do good to, it's not good enough just to do all the strength work without also addressing mobility, range of motion. All right, so just take one leg. I've got my right leg. I'm using my hands to move my leg. My leg muscles aren't contributing to this at all. Just go a few times each direction. And try to really make sure you're breathing with this. Breathing really is a major player in releasing. All right. Let's go ahead and cross that leg over the other one. Reclining pigeon pose, so still my right leg. Now this is where your support leg is really what drives the stretch. So my left leg is telling my right leg where to go pretty much. So try shifting that left leg to the left, to the center. See what shifting that support leg does for the stretch in the opposite hip. One more breath. Release, let go. We'll switch legs, starting with that passive mobilizer again, just using the hands to guide that thigh in a circle at your own speed, your own range of motion, which is why I don't count reps on this part. And just make sure you do some each way. So after a few rotations one direction, make sure you switch, balance it out. Then we're going to cross that leg over the other one, stretch that hip. So shifting that support leg around. always think of my, my role as a teacher as someone who just tells you what to do. I feel like I'm more of a guide, where I'm kind of guiding you into your body, into your muscles and bones and joints, into your breathing, and letting you make the discoveries. Figuring out how your body works, how it moves, what it needs, what is not in your body's best interest to be doing. All of those things. All right, uncross. Let's just hug the back of our thighs and tip ourselves up. And we're just going to roll those legs side to side and move into everybody's favorite, happy hips. And the reason it's so hard is that basically we're asking some really tiny little muscles that don't get much, a lot of times don't get much work to all of a sudden literally lift the weight of your leg. So, all right, point both of your knees. I'm pointing mine to my left. So you can keep your hands on the floor. You could have one hand lifted, or you can have both hands lifted. And we're just going to lift and lower this leg 8 times, and then we're going to do 4 sweeps. But we're going to try to do this a little slower today. Now here we go. So lift and lower. Lift and lower. 3 and lower. Really tighten that core. 4 and lower. 5 and lower. 6 and lower. 7 and lower. 8 and lower. Sweep across. That's 1 and 2 and 3. Last one, you got this. And 4. Put that knee down. All right, a little extra today. We're just going to keep this foot on the floor and just take it up and down. Again, this is more of a mobilizer here. You don't have the whole weight of the leg now. And then feel that action of putting that knee on the floor and follow it down into the ground now. And use that push to help lift your hips and then set them back down. So you're literally squeezing the inner part of this lower leg, the knee and where the knee and the shin meet, into the ground. And I'm engaging literally the opposite muscles of what we just used, which is what helps these guys release. Then bring that leg across, either inside the knee or outside. And just try to relax and let all the tension go in that hip. Breathe in and out. All right, let's relax and cross. Roll the legs 2 or 3 times, but make sure you don't go into the same way twice. Let's go ahead and I'm taking my knees to the right side this time, or my right. Same setup. Core supporting and connecting the hips and the ribs. Hands either on or off the floor. Try to lift this whole leg as a unit. Doesn't have to be high, just off the ground. It's up and down. And 2. And down. 3. And down. 4. And down. 5. Barely touch. 6. Keep breathing. 7 and 8. Bring it down, then just lift it up high enough that you can sweep it across and just reach back, across. So you're reaching that leg back, across, and back. 1 more, and back. All right. So sitting here again, we're just going to keep the foot on the floor and just lift that knee a few times. Notice how, once that foot gets to stay down, how much easier this is. All right. So we're going to bring that knee down, keep pushing it right down into the ground, and as you do, you're going to need your hand here too. Lift the hips, push them down. Squeeze into that leg. Let them come down. Squeeze, let it come down. Last one. And Bring that leg across, either inside the knee or across the knee. And then just feel like you're just letting all that tension just drain out of those hips. Breathe in and out. All right, let's go ahead and uncross. We're going to come into a staff pose to stretch our hamstrings. So first order of business here is to make sure your torso is upright. So I would say start with your knees bent. Keep your torso upright. Slide your legs as straight as you can get them. If you find your torso starting to lean backwards, that's as far as you should straighten your legs. Pull your toes towards your knees, and we're just going to gradually slide that chest right out, straight out. The back stays neutral. This is another place to put your palms into your mat and just give a little tug to get a little leverage. And just breathe into that muscle tension. Imagine, notice where you're feeling the tightness. Imagine your breath going into that tightness and creating space. And then on an exhale, that's when you go deeper. Release the breath, release the muscles. And then relax from that. We're going to open our legs out to the side. Same general thing here. If it's hard to sit up straight, have your knees slightly bent. If you're at home and you could roll a couple of towels under your legs, that can be helpful. Again, we're going to start by just taking the chest straight forward without rounding the back. Don't worry about how far forward you go. Your toes are pointing toward the ceiling. And then release from that. And try it with your feet rolling out. Just see what you feel. Come forward again. This is where you're starting to experiment with what your bone structure, how your hips are set up bone structure wise. Some people are going to find they've got more mobility when they roll the toes out. Others are going to find they have less. We're just gently moving into these so we're not forcefully jamming any joints. All right, let's come up from that. We're going to go ahead and come into a cross-legged position. If you find it hard to sit up straight here, just having those hips higher changes the way your thigh bones meet your pelvis. So it's important to be able to be comfortable and not have to feel like you're jamming your hips to sit like this. So let's take a few breaths here. Go ahead and bring our hands into heart center. Press the hands away. Spread those shoulder blades. Let your chin drop towards your collarbones. Reach everything up overhead. Release the hands. Twist to the left side. And let your head come around. Look all the way behind you while rooting your sit bones into the ground. Today we'll do something a little different. At least unless you've been to class, the regular class, I've got my right hand on my left knee. I'm going to lift my left hand up and drop my right shoulder toward my right knee. But I'm really reaching and stretching. I'm not just falling over. I'm stretching and elevating at the same time. Come up out of that. Let's come across and again sit nice and tall. Get that twist. And then we're just going to reach up, and I'm dropping my left shoulder toward my left knee, but I'm really feeling a big stretch and reach out of the rib cage toward the ceiling. Elevating that torso as it leans. Come back up, and we'll come back to center, and just put your hands on your heart center here. And just breathe in and out of your heart center. Few more breaths. And go ahead and just bring your hands together at heart center. And I'll close with this thought today. My practice is not limited by location, but by intention. You can practice wherever you find yourself. Tell yourself, I can practice yoga right here, right now. This intention will transform your day. Namaste.